and our company has a software tool designed to make audio production easier, faster, and more efficient.
Hey, it's Joe Solari, and I'm back again here on the channel to talk to you about something different today. We're going to be talking about audio production and a new productivity tool that one of my clients turned me on to. And to tell us about that, I have the CEO of the company, Adam Fritz. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you, Joe?
Good. So why don't you tell everybody about POZOTRON, who maybe haven't heard of you, and what you're all about? And
Perfect. Yeah. So POZOTRON is we're a growth stage startup. We've been around since 2017. We're based in Seattle, just outside of Seattle. And our company has a software tool designed to make audio production easier, faster, and more efficient. So regardless of your role in scripted audio production, whether that's an audiobook or otherwise, our tool will make a bunch of those steps in the process easier and faster. We use AI and machine learning to make pre-production, things like pronunciation guides and character planning easier, all the way down to post-production like QC and proofing. We have a tool that acts just like spell check does for Microsoft Word, only it checks your recorded audio to make sure it's recorded exactly word perfect compared to the book text. So a bunch of things that'll make life a lot easier for authors to have their audiobooks produced easier, faster, and at higher quality level.
And it doesn't eliminate like human checking, but it really reduces like the need for somebody to actually like sit and listen to a 20-hour audiobook all 20 hours.
Exactly. Our goal is basically the only thing a person who's doing the human proofing needs to pay attention to are the more performative elements like character voices and things like that. Just like when you're typing a document in Microsoft Word, you have those little red underlines to tell you when you've made a typo or a spelling mistake. Our tool will do that for the missed words, added words, mispronunciations, while you're just paying attention to make sure the story is told in a way that fits the author's vision.
Mm. Before we like get into looking at the tool, how have being on kind of both sides of this, how has it been for the feedback been from narrators about using this tool and how it maybe helps them be more productive as well?
Yeah, I mean, it helped in a number of different ways. I'll start at the pre-production tools like the pronunciation guide. A lot of narrators do most narrators do a huge amount of work in the lead up to actually recording their book. So they'll read the book with a highlighter in their hand and highlight every word they don't know how to pronounce, whether that's a complex noun or verb or all the way up to character names. So what our tool does is instead of having to go through and manually highlight those words, our algorithm pulls all the words our algorithm believes your average narrator may not know how to pronounce. And then it'll automatically and immediately search those in the Oxford Dictionary, Forvo, or when we're adding Merriam-Webster. Basically one click and you have that correct pronunciation back. Makes it much, much simpler to do that process. And then a lot of narrators will actually, once they record, before they send their recorded audio back to their client, they'll actually do a first proof themselves. So their client believes they're much more accurate than maybe they are on their first pass. So they're more likely to get repeat work. So it's a very effective tool for narrators that way. And we have hundreds of narrator clients worldwide that use our tool. Awesome.
Well, why don't you show us all the functionality of like how it does the cool fix the mistake stuff, but also how it, from what you were showing me the other day, it's a pretty powerful project management tool as well.
Of course. I will. Let me know you can see my screen. Should say demo project 2023. All right. So POZOTRON bases every project, and every project being for the most part an individual book, on the script. That script can be uploaded using a Word document, so docx format, PDF, or an EPUB. When you're creating a project, it's very, very simple. You're going to click Create New Project. You're going to type in your project title. You're going to select your manuscript file. You can add some settings, so an internal ID number or your ISBN, what the due date is, and you can also control the sensitivity of our proofing algorithm and our and disable or enable noise detection, and I'll explain how those work in a minute. Once you upload your project, your screen's going to look like this. So these are the audio files that I have uploaded, the individual chapter audio files for this demo project. The first step, if you want to get into your pre-production, you're going to go up here, click on pronunciation, click open suggestions. And you can see, let me just widen this so it goes to side-by-side view. There we go. So here on the left are all of the words that your average narrator may not know how to pronounce. I've got some capitalized words here that I'm going to ignore. You're going to decide on every word, or the 43 in the suggestions list, which your average narrator, so if it's the author, for example, they can go through and choose a lot of the character names. If it's a narrator, they'll go through and make sure they know how to pronounce not only character names, but all those other words, complex words found in the book. These are the complex words in English. At least we have a 150,000 word database that we've gone through line by line to grade every word as simple or complex. I'm going to add a couple words here. So we've got Rosaline, chairing, and we'll just go with 3 for speed, and Dinah. Let me go and I'll add a couple more, Avon and Ferdy. Okay, so when a word is found in the dictionary, so you can see, for example, Rosaline.
Rosaline.
So you can click there. Hopefully you could hear that audio.
Yeah.
You can hear that audio, the correct audio pronunciation. You can also hover over here, see up to 5 examples of that word from the book. In the event, so chairing, Dinah, and Avon are pronunciations that I had previously added to other books. So within your account, if you have a pronunciation that you've recorded, it'll bring up that same information previously. So here's Dinah.
Dinah. Dinah.
So everyone loves hearing their own voice. That's me recording Dinah. In the event here, so the name Ferdy, there's no pronunciation found in Ferdy. There's a couple things you can do. It's clearly a name based on those 2 occurrences that it's showing here. You can also see the count. This shows how many times in the book that occurs. You can do a couple things. You can change the dictionary to Forvo, for example, and then you can re-research it, or I'm going to leave it on Oxford. And in this case, there are clickable links here for Merriam-Webster, Forvo, OneLook.com, and Youglish, ways for you to do research very quickly, one click of a mouse, and see how to pronounce Ferdy. So in this case, I've searched on Youglish, which is a great resource. And here.
Situation. They had told me that Purdy and Kelly were at.
So that one, didn't really like that pronunciation. You can find another one.
My name is Ferdy Ferdinand Kingsley.
Okay, so let's say we like that one, Ferdy. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go in here. I can type in the phonetics that I like. See, there you go. I've done this demo before. You can also record Ferdy. And you can also add a URL there. If a narrator is doing this, they can then actually share this project. Move my window here. Share this project with the author, and then that author can go in and listen to everything that has been recorded and make sure that it's exactly, especially things like character names, are the exact pronunciations they're hoping for. The other thing, if there are, for example, let's say there's a character name. Let's try Dartmoor. Sure nothing comes up there. Well, I can use my last name. Hopefully that comes up. If there is a pronunciation, I'll just clear the pronunciation for Fritz. If you do have a word that is blank that you really don't know how to pronounce, the narrator can share this with the author. The author can show only incomplete. And then I know the only thing as the author I need to fill in is the correct pronunciation for Fritz. Which, yeah, I just
sure, but
okay.
The idea is that with a narrator that maybe is dealing with like fantasy names or science fiction that you don't know, exactly. This is a really great way to communicate back and forth the author's intention for those pronunciations.
Exactly. So really the goal here is most narrators I've ever spoken to have had at least one situation where they've not nailed down the pronunciation of a word or a character name before they start recording. And then they go do that book and then they get feedback saying, especially for a major character, for example, in the name Rosaline, hey, you pronounced it Rosaline, it's actually Rosaline. So go redo. In this case, there's 11 occurrences, but in a major character in a 500-page book, you're probably looking at 100 or more lines of dialogue that are going to have to be re-recorded. So
Yeah, we've seen that exact thing happen, and it's words that maybe are military words that people don't understand, and it's not actually a word; it's an acronym or things like that. Right?
Exactly. Really, our goal is to make the effort of pre-production, pronunciation, character work, and that kind of thing easier and faster, but more importantly, easy to share amongst other project stakeholders. We also have a character guide here where you can scan your book. It'll give you an output of all the character names in the book. In this case, I'll just add one. I'll add Sherlock. Your narrator can then go in and add a photo that kind of speaks to who they want that character to be. I had a narrator. I won't add anything right now, but I had a narrator speak to me a while ago, and he said all he needed to know what the voice should be for a character was a picture of Matthew McConaughey's face. And just looking at that gave him all the information he needed to know about the tone and the voice that he was going to use. You can also your narrator can add in notes here from the text. So for example, brilliant detective. You can add up to 10 lines of dialogue here, or 10 lines of information. You can add obstinate and rude. You can also add in notes about the character's voice. So deep baritone, London accent. And then the narrator can record themselves speaking in that character's voice for up to 30 seconds. Again, you can send that to the author. The author and the narrator can go back and forth to really nail down to make sure that character's voice matches exactly what that fits the author's vision, I guess, for lack of a better description. The other thing is when you've got a series of books, you can actually create your research for the first book and then transfer automatically that research into the next book using our transfer function. So you're never having to duplicate work. You've got books 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're basically just building either a pronunciation glossary or a list of characters and their character voices to carry on throughout the series.
Yeah, that's really powerful, especially for folks that are doing long series where these narrators have to bounce back and forth between series and maybe some time, and they get back there. It's like, oh, what were those characters' voices like? And
exactly. Another use for there is if you do, for whatever reason, need to change narrators during a series, it's then easy for that narrator to access this information and do their best to replicate what had already been done. So lots of use cases there. Once you've then gone and done all of your pre-production work, your narrator's gone and done their recordings, you're going to drag and drop your audio files down here. That can be WAV, MP3, or FLAC format. And POZOTRON will automatically match your text to the audio and give you an output of every mistake your narrator has made, or at least potential mistake your narrator's made. And that's based on 5 different types of mistakes. I'm going to show this quick demo here. It's it's 2 minutes long, but it'll show every different type of mistake POZOTRON catches and how those are reported. So just a couple things to note here. This black text is where the audio begins. This gray text is what comes in the script immediately before the audio begins. It's automatically matched script to text. It's going to highlight every word as it is said. And then every red underline here is a mistake our algorithm has flagged, and the details of those mistakes are over here on the left.
Version 2. POZOTRON Studio is an AI-powered audio production tool designed to ensure that performance always comes first. Our technology and tools exist to help teams of creative people and their technical support make the best performances more accurate, efficient, and in less time. Since POZOTRON is more accurate and sensitive than a human proofer, your proofers and editors won't need to worry about accurate pronunciations or word-perfect narration. Instead, focusing on dialogue, dialect, and performance. Our audio proofing tool is designed to catch the key mistakes your narrator may make during narration, including words accidentally added into the script by the narrator.
You can see there, the script says words added into the script, but he inserted the word accidentally. So I'm going to mark that as a pickup there on the left.
Words missed from the script.
He doesn't read, that should be narrated, which is part of the script. Going to mark that as a pickup.
Of course, it will find misperceptions and misspoken words.
He says misperceptions instead of mispronunciations. That's a very clear mistake. Mark that as a pickup.
Pauses longer than 2 seconds.
He is one of my employees, so I can mark that as a long pause. It'll flag every pause longer than 2 seconds.
Including audio distortions, synthetic sound issues, and natural noises like a dog barking or a fire truck siren.
So obviously a dog barking in the background, a lot of narration is done in home booths these days. So whether it's kids running around or a vacuum cleaner or anything else, those sounds cannot get into the final audiobook. So you can mark those as a pickup. You can see it detected a noise, animal, domestic animal, pet, dog, and here motor vehicle, emergency vehicle siren, and also another long pause here. Once you've gone through and done your proofing, and you can go in and I'll show you how you're going to communicate that back and forth. So we've gone through, done our first chapter of proofing. What I'm going to do here is go import, export, pickup packet. You can set a bunch of different customizations there. And then you send this to the narrator. You just have to copy and paste this URL. This shows the details of every mistake in terms of the type of mistake, the slate number, the timestamp, as well as the voice match audio file. So your narrator can go in there, listen to his or her first mistake, go back in there and then re-record. They can either re-record using their DAW, which is a digital audio workstation like Pro Tools or Audacity or any of those. Or they can actually go into POZOTRON and record those pickups themselves using our pickup recording tool, which basically allows them to, in this case, can listen to the audio.
Including words accidentally added into the script by the narrator.
Then your narrator can go in here, including words added into the script by the narrator.
Including words added into the script by the narrator.
Then they can send that your author can go in, they can listen to those mistakes and either provide feedback, that is terrible, please redo. You can see I'm definitely not a trained narrator, or they can just click approve, and then whoever's doing that editing can easily download those pickup files along with what we call DAW markers, which will mark every mistake and where it needs to get edited inside your audio editing session in Pro Tools or any other digital audio workstation. Really, it's a very powerful tool to speed up the process, especially in the case when it's a project that's being done. A lot of things are being done by one person, whether that's the narrator or the author. Really will make life a lot easier.
Mm.
The final tool that we have to show off is our audio analysis tool. And when you're about to you've got your mastered audio files and you're about to deliver that to your distributor, whether it's Audible, ACX, or any others, what you're going to do is you can either analyze your chapters from the proofing side of things, or you can drag and drop your files. I will just add this here. You determine who your distributors are. The file is going to upload quickly, and then you're going to be able to click Show Analysis. And I'll show that in a different project right now, so we don't have to wait for it to process. The demo project 2022, audio analysis. You see I've got a chapter here. I'm going to click Show Analysis. And this will test your mastered file to make sure it's in accordance with every one of the distribution specs. So the last thing you want to do is get all this work done, submit it to ACX, and then get an email back saying, sorry, you're not in, your specs are out of line. You're going to need to go back and fix something. This will tell you exactly what needs to get fixed. And as well as we have links to solutions on the side that'll actually teach you how to fix that issue if you are maybe more of a beginner in the audiobook world. So really our tool is designed to make collaboration and production easier. Whether you're 2 people working on a project or 20, the goal is it'll make your audiobook production easier, faster, and more efficient.
No, that's great. That's great. And if you could help people understand how, like, if they're going to start trying this tool out, like how does it work? Is it subscription? Do you buy it? What's the deal?
Yeah, so we operate on a SaaS model. So it's monthly invoices based on however much you use inside of POZOTRON. If you would like to try it out, go to our Contact Us page and you can either book a product demo or just shoot us an email to our sales account. We can set you up with a free account, give you 7 hours of free audio to try it out. All of our pricing is based on, in terms of the post-production QC tool I showed you, however much audio you upload, it'll charge you anywhere from $7 to $12 per hour based on volume discounts and what level of subscription you subscribe to. Those pre-production tools, the pronunciation guide and character guide, are just a flat fee, about $9 per project. We'll give you all of those for an entire book. So if you can't find $9 worth of value and efficiency out of these tools on an entire book project, we can help you with that for sure.
Great, great. Cool. And do you have any ideas like where you're hoping to take this tool to for authors, and kind of the vision of how you see the industry and how you guys are fitting in it?
Yes, we have many plans for the coming 12 to 24 months. A couple of things we're working on the pre-production side is what we're calling a dialogue detection tool. So with your written book, it'll allow a narrator to parse through and pull every line of dialogue for a certain character. So an example is, I was speaking to a narrator recently who was doing a duet narration where he would record half the chapters and the other narrator would record half. And he did all of his recordings, sent them in. The author responded with, "Didn't you read the book beforehand?" I don't understand. He missed, because he only prepped his chapters. He only read his chapters of the book. In one of the other chapters that the other narrator read, it mentioned that the main character, one of the other characters said about the main character, in this case, let's use Joe as an example, "I forgot how deep Joe's voice was." And so the narrator just used a normal voice, and the author sent him a screenshot of the page and said, he needs to have a deep baritone. And so this dialogue detector will pull all of that information out of the book. So you can easily scan that and make sure you're performing the character exactly how the author intended. We're also building a teleprompter. Science, a lot of research has shown that humans are just more accurate reading off of a teleprompter than they are, either off a written page, because it essentially guides our eyes at a customizable speed. So that's one thing we're working on. We're also working on kind of our biggest long-term goal is getting to the point where POZOTRON will actually proof your audio while you record it. So you're actually getting live feedback on whether your pronunciations are correct and you're saying every word while you're actually recording it. There's a huge proliferation of AI across all publishing, but specific to audiobooks, there's a number of companies out there trying to create skilled, or I should say, easy to listen to or pleasant to listen to AI narration out there. That is not what we're doing. We think of it as basically we're giving human narrators and other humans involved in the audiobook production process the same advantages of AI and machine learning, only we're keeping the humans fully involved in the process. So you're getting those same efficiencies in speed and accuracy, only you still have a human reading the book.
Yeah. And from what authors that I've been talking to about their take on a narration by AI, some see it as a tool that they may use with the idea of it being kind of a low cost, segmented product for people that are okay with, a book that's not really it's just read, right? There's no, and for some genres that has a nice fit. Other people know that it's all about delivering a performance and they need a performer to do it. And certainly in the bigger genres where I see audio really successful, there's a big part of it is that narrator and what they bring to broaden the picture of the story.
Exactly. And the amount of work it requires to produce 1 hour of really good quality audiobook content, you're looking at, in some cases, 7, 8, 9, 10 or more hours of work to produce one single hour of audiobook content. So our tool will cut that down dramatically and really make it a higher quality end result in a shorter amount of time.
Well, and there's some business process issues that you're solving in the sense of popular narrators become pinch points in production. They can only do so many hours of work, and if you can help them be more productive and get more work out in a period, that means they get more books out, they make more money, and authors that are waiting in line get their books out. And it's not just that they want to get the book out to sell. As we know from the work that we've done, is if we can get simultaneous release of the audio and the print, both products sell more.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of these narrators, you call them up and they're booked until next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, our goal is basically just trying to make it, get more content into people's ears, because the people who use our tool can produce better quality and faster books.
Well, this has been really enlightening, Adam. I appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, one of my clients brought this up to me, that they were using your tool to improve their proofing process. They had their assistant using it to get through books faster, and then it was making things a lot smoother. So just wanted to help other authors understand that you guys are out there and you have this tool for them to use.
Well, thank you very much for having me on today, Joe. For anyone who has questions, wants to check us out, it's www.pozotron.com, POZOTRON.com.
And they're very quick in getting back to you. It was probably less than 24 hours when I reached out to you. I think it was you directly, the CEO. I was like, I would love to be, let's do a demo. And so you guys are really enthusiastic about helping out the community. So I'm happy you're here to help us.
Well, I'm glad you had that experience. And the only prerequisite for working at POZOTRON is loving books and loving audiobooks. So we've got a team who are really passionate about what we do.
Awesome. Well, good talking to you, and we'll have you back again when you have some new cool features to share with us.
Sounds great. Thanks very much, Joe. Take care.
Hi, Adam.